Hey, what's going on, guys? Greg here today, and I'm bringing you guys a Call of Duty Modern Warfare gameplay commentary. Today we'll be playing some ground war on the map Zhokov Boneyard, and I wanted to point this out here in the beginning of the gameplay that I took this little flank route here around the warehouse over here, the hangar, whatever you want to call it, behind B. And the reason I did this is because it's a really good flank route if you're having a little bit of positioning struggles with your teammates where you can't spawn on them all that well, or let's say your flags you hold are not really going to be where enemies are going to, like, you can't spawn on it, there's not really be many enemies around. So what you want to do is you kind of want to go on a flank to one of the flags the enemies own, and you want to start getting some kills on that flag so you guys can break out the opposition and grab the flag, so you'll have better spawns for your team, as well as maybe your own squad mates too. If you're playing solo, or if you're playing with friends, it's a little bit easier to communicate, but if you're playing solo, you'll get your squad mates spawning up further, and then you'll be able to get back into the action a lot quicker. In this gameplay, I'm using the AK-47. This is a new setup I was trying out. I believe it had the RPK barrel, maybe. I can't remember the exact setup. Actually, no, wait. I think it was tactical foregrip, Merc foregrip, stippled grip tape, sleight of hand, and skeleton stock. I believe that was actually the setup. So there was no barrel. And actually, yeah, the reason I was trying out this setup is because the Merc foregrip recently got a buff, where it is now like the best recoil control attachment in the game. And since the AK-47 doesn't have much horizontal recoil, I decided to try out a setup like this. Taking off something like the RPK barrel or the Romanian barrel allows you to have a lot more movement speed. It allows you to have better ADS speed and overall better handling on your weapon. The only thing is you'll have to compensate for more recoil control, so that means you'll have to be pulling down your thumbstick a little bit more, which means it's going to require a lot more mechanical skill for you to do so. However, in return, you do get a little bit more of an aggressive AK-47 build, which means you can sprint around a lot easier, you can ADS faster, and overall the gun feels a lot nicer and more competitive with a lot faster weapons, such as the M4A1, the MP5, and the GRA 5.56. I decided a game after this I was going to try the muzzle brake, because the muzzle brake helps with horizontal recoil, and since I don't want to use the commando foregrip because, like I said, the AK doesn't have too much horizontal recoil and it's mostly a vertical recoil weapon, if you try something out like the muzzle brake on this gun, you can get that benefit that the commando foregrip would give, but you also get that massive vertical recoil reduction that the Merc foregrip gives. So it's up to you if you guys want to use something like a tactical suppressor or a muzzle brake, depending on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to go on a little bit more flanks, get a lot more kill streaks, and overall dominate your opponents, the suppressor might be a good option for you, especially if you're playing ground war. And then also if you are playing 10 versus 10, 6 versus 6, and the enemies are generally going to be able to predict you a lot easier, then I would say something like the muzzle brake is probably a lot better, because you're going to be taking people on one-on-one gunfights more often than not so much shooting people on the back or getting flanks off on smaller maps that you would see in 10 versus 10 and 6 versus 6. So I would definitely recommend using something like the muzzle brake whenever it comes down to actually winning those one-on-one gunfights. But in ground war, you can get away with using something like the suppressor because, like I said, you're going to be going on flanks and stuff like that. So anyways, I cut out the beginning of the gameplay. As you can see right now, we're 39-5, and the reason I did that is just because there wasn't really anything going on. It wasn't very entertaining, not much you guys could see. Right here, I ended up getting sniped. There's always one of these guys in every ground war lobby, actually more than just one of these guys. Usually, I'd say at least a fourth of the lobbies generally sniping and just laying back in their spawn or doing God knows what. But one of the tips I can give you guys here on a map like Zhokov Boneyard, where there are a lot of angles, is you want to go to areas where there is less angles to be picked from, right? So right here, this is a really good area. Not this little jump spot I'm on. I'm just using this jump spot just to get a few kills real quick, and then I'll just go ahead off of it. But right here, there's not many angles you can be picked from. You can sweep them real quick before doing this, deciding what you want to do next. If you go on the other side of this area, like the right lane of this map, there is so many more angles you can be picked from because of the way the plane pieces are broken up and stuff like that. And that is honestly one of the things you want to do in ground war, is have more predictability on your opponents, but also you want to stay out of ways that the opponents could be seeing you, right? So what I mean by this is you want to have less angles that the enemies can that they'll come from and they can be shooting you from, but you want to have more angles on yourself that the enemies can be exposed to whenever they're trying to peek you. So what I mean by this, if I can put this into perspective, because I know this is kind of hard to explain and I'm not the best at explaining things, I'm trying to learn how to do that for you guys, but right here basically I can see a majority of the area where enemies are going to come from. I can quickly sweep them with my eyes, the angles, and I can see where people are going to be. They might know I'm here, but you have to remember there's 32 people on the other team, so if I kill 1 or 2 people from this position, the odds of other people knowing that I'm here, especially using a suppressor and ghost, is very unlikely, right? So the only way they'd really know is if they see my bullet tracers shooting, which, I mean, isn't obviously going to happen all the time. Some people are going to spot things, other people won't. But sitting right here, I can sweep those angles, and I can see where people are going to be coming from without having to worry too much of being picked from a bunch of random angles. Right here, as you guys can see, this is where aiming stability would help out a lot. You lose aiming stability whenever you are using something like the stock that I have on. It's the skeleton stock, and then stippled grip tape. You do lose aiming stability. I believe suppressor also makes you lose aiming stability, and whenever you lose aiming stability, that means you're going to have less recoil control at long range because your gun's going to be idle swaying all over the place, and it can make it really hard to hit pop shots across the map, and tap firing becomes less effective. So whenever you use attachments like this, you want to generally stick to closer quarters and try to take enemies out within a certain range, and generally that will be a good feeling of the gun, I'd say, for its damage profile. Now, the AK-47 has a very strong damage profile and can 4-shot people, pretty much 3 to 4-shot people across the entire map. Generally, with the build I like to use with the 7.62 rounds, it's pretty much a 3-shot kill at any range, which makes this so rewarding. But you guys do have to remember, like I said, that very high recoil that the AK-47 has. Another thing about ground war, whenever you're playing flanks and stuff like this, and trying to build up your kill streaks, is kill streaks can really turn the tides of the battle on ground war, especially kill streaks like the White Phosphorus, the VTOL jet, the support helo, the gunship, the advanced UAV. Those higher kill streaks have a huge impact in ground war, especially the advanced UAV. That is one that not a lot of people seem to run in ground war, but it is so powerful because the more access your team has to intelligence of where the enemies are, especially for how many people who try to go for a stealthy build in ground war, that means that your teammates can be getting more kill streaks and in return dominating the opposition, which means you can have more flags in control, you can have more map control since the kill streaks will help you gain that, and the advanced UAV is very powerful for that reason. Now, this setup I'm using here, the White Phosphorus, is a double-edged sword. As you guys saw earlier, whenever I called in the White Phosphorus, I couldn't see where an enemy was, but he probably got a red name tag on me, or just the visibility overall was probably better for him, whereas it was much worse for me. The White Phosphorus is a little bit iffy. It's generally a kill streak that you call in, use for rotations, and don't really do much killing while it's up, even though it lowers the enemy's health. I just find that it's a little bit more dangerous for you to go out and try to get some kills while the White Phosphorus is up, and the reason is because of the visibility issues that it causes. I heard that recently they fixed something with the visibility issues. Now, I haven't really played in a couple days because I've been busy with some homework assignments and stuff like that, but I haven't really noticed any changes with the White Phosphorus visibility. I still think it's pretty poor, and I believe it's a lot better for a kill streak in ground war, though, because it affects so many more players. The initial bomb that it drops can get you so many kills, and it's an absolutely amazing and fun kill streak to run, even though if it might get you killed because of the visibility issues, it's still going to be killing a lot of people while it's active, as well as it's going to get you a lot of kills on the initial drop too, with good placement, of course. And then you can also use it to cloak your support helo, which was something I talked about in one of my other videos. Same thing with the VTOL jet. You can use the White Phosphorus to cloak kill streaks because of the poor visibility, which means that people that are not running spotter will have a much harder time seeing those kill streaks, and in return, those AI support kill streaks will be doing a lot more damage. So the White Phosphorus overall is a good kill streak in combination with other kill streaks. And right here, this is where FMJ would have probably been useful, because I was getting reduced damage on this guy, as well as it's hard to aim at people with a controller while they're in a vehicle because you don't get aim assist on them, or at least it's very weak from what I've noticed. So right there, FMJ would have probably really helped me out. I find a lot of the times I'm able to kill somebody and then run away before their vehicle runs me over. It still is kind of a 50-50, but FMJ can definitely help you shoot through the vehicle and get those easy kills on people that are trying to run you over. But this gameplay, I went for a little bit more of an aggressive build, so I had sleight of hand on my class because I wanted to try to be a little bit more aggressive and play a little bit more close range, because that's what I'm trying to do, just switching out of my comfort zone ground war since I'm so used to playing long ranges. But anyways, that's pretty much all I have for today, so hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, learned something today. If you liked the video, drop a like and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace out.